Hey, check it out now. Just click the two little two happy faces at the bottom. Hey, what up?
Oh yeah, there we go.
All right, cool.
Hey,
When you setting up your live, you just have to tap it at the bottom saying you want people to join the
I
room.
feel you. I'm only on audio though, man.
Yeah, shit, dude, this is the best I can do, man.
I feel you, man. Hey, that's a dope Blue Jays hat, man. I'm from Canada, so I already respect it, man.
Got you, got you.
So what's good, man?
So,
Well, we gonna
hmm?
gonna kick off. We gonna kick off with a discussion about anonymity on the internet.
let's let's kick it off slow right now, man. Let's kick it off with the fucking rap scene.
With what?
With the rap scene.
All right, let's do it.
So, I'm not too familiar with the Dallas rap scene,
Mm,
but I'm pretty familiar with the Houston. Did they take their style or did they do their own shit?
bro, there's no rap scene in Dallas, Texas. I've been here. I've lived here for 16, 17 years, and I started rapping. I started writing rhymes in middle school, and I just from the jump, I kind of knew that I wasn't gonna fit in with what this city was trying to represent as far as music's concerned. So there ain't no rap
Gotcha.
scene. It's starting to blow up, man. You got like uh, dudes like Yella Beezy and a lot of
But that,
radio friendly stuff, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it
They had a dude from back. I want to say about like 10 years ago. His name started with like a T. It wasn't Big Tuck or Big something,
uh
man. He had like a little small hit.
you talking about like Mr. Lucci?
Nah, I remember that cat too. Uh,
Yeah, bring me back to the
uh,
high school days, man. How old are you?
35.
Same here, man. Same exact age.
Come on.
Yeah, I couldn't tell by the avatar
So,
picture. You look like 22-year-old college kid
yeah, yeah,
on the
yeah,
Yale
yeah. Fuck that
campus or
shit.
something.
Fuck that shit. So were you into Swisher House and shit like that back in high school days?
Say it one more time.
Were you into Swisher House back in the high school
Yeah,
days? Because they was.
I fucked with Michael Watts and Screwed and Chop stuff. I got a couple of Screwed and Chop songs myself, but nah, I wasn't big on it, man. I was always a conscious dude from an early age when it comes to music. Like my first album was Nas. It was written when I was like 9 years old, so I kind of set the bar pretty high with myself early.
Got you, got you, got you. They had a lot of conscious rap. I never really got into De La Soul, but I think didn't they have some conscious shit?
Yeah, they got a lot of conscious stuff, man. Yeah, that's a recent topic of discussion that's pretty interesting is how they're being treated by their label right now. And how like
Oh,
yeah, they're all like 50-year-old dudes and getting shysted for their royalties and just not getting
oh,
their
okay.
due because streaming and all that is kind of taking over and pushing them out of the way and not giving them any money. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I watched that video with that. They were like in a black like convertible type car. I like when he said, what he said. He said, people think they're immortal, but if you separate the M's, you find the truth.
Mm,
I like that because I'm mortal versus immortal.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, exactly. Just
Man, that shit, I like little shit like that, man. I want to go dissect your. Yep. Did you write down your lyrics?
did I write down what now?
Your
Yeah,
lyrics.
most of my lyrics are written down, about 70 to 80% of them.
Oh, okay, because when I'm listening to it, I miss shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I do with Lupe. Like I go back and I look at his genius list,
Yeah.
and then I try to figure it out myself, and then tap on and see what he meant.
There you go. There you go. See,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. I mean, I wouldn't want to jump into like discussing how the shit like works out, but a lot of my lyrics I pick up on them retroactively. Meaning like when I was writing these songs, a lot of the stuff is from about 10, 15 years ago. And when I was writing the songs, I had a muse, right? There was some pain going on in my life or some drama or something I wanted to talk about. But since then, like I listen back to the music and the shit changes. It evolves. The lyrics mean different things at different times. It's crazy.
Gotcha. But would you keep them as like a treasure chest, like your old lyrics, or would you think about like going back there and update them till now, like upgrading because you upgraded your lyrics, or just keep the original lyrics and just release older stuff?
I, I
You get what I'm saying?
uh I could release older stuff and do it mastered. You see, like I didn't have much money to put into this when I was coming up, so I at the time we're talking 2003, 2004 when I started doing this. I
Right.
was basically just got like an $80 headset with a mic from I don't think it was Amazon. I think it was another site. And I just messed with the audio quality a little bit. I mixed my own stuff. All of my music is unmastered. So it's like what you got on SoundCloud is like 20% of the stuff too. So there's a lot more out there than what's
Right.
online. So I would go back and master it and re-record in studio. I don't know if I would change any of the
Lyrics.
lyrics. Yeah,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah. But I've got a lot of stuff that's un.
I mean, it would sound kind of weird. Like let's say like you was rapping like today, and you'd be like, "I just hit up a new bitch on my MySpace." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, no, no, I feel you. Yeah, that there.
I mean, like not change lyrics, but like change the words. You know what I'm saying? Like I hit up a bitch on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of rappers that do that. Like
oh, okay,
Fabulous, for example, like has a lot of time sensitive uh music and a lot of his punchlines are of a certain time period and like in the early
right, right,
2000s and those are the metaphor rappers of those days of the golden days. They you can tell their music is pretty dated because you can hear a couple lines and they're talking about specific stuff that was going on at that time. I try to stay away from that stuff. Best of I can.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, first I was gonna ask you this question, but I googled it myself. Um, I was gonna ask you why you never put it on like a iTunes.
Uh,
I mean, like iTunes, but like an Apple Music. By saying I think it's like $89 for a year.
yeah, iTunes and Spotify and all that. I mean, that's the next venture. I'm 35, bro, so you might be able to relate to this. Like a lot of the way to like the ends for technology right now, they're a little beyond me. I mean, just take a look at how hard it was for us to start the Periscope. Like
Yeah,
it was
you make fun of
difficult.
like your grandmother or mama,
It was
huh?
difficult, bro. I come from the days of like being able to upload shit to Hulkshare and MediaFire and like stream sites where you could just pull the zip file down and you were listening to music for free. I outside of the CD copies that I was selling out of the back of my trunk, just like that old cliche, all of my music that was ever online was always free.
Oh,
So I
okay.
don't know.
So
I'm foreign to the concept of how to get started with that shit.
gotcha. So SoundCloud is a really good format, like for up and because they were showing like I mean like I see like streaming kind of killed the rap game in a way.
Yeah,
Like like it used to like take a shitload of stuff just to get like a record deal, so you have to be like the best of the best to get there.
yeah.
Nah, niggas,
Nowadays,
upload this shit.
I mean, yeah, anybody can make a
Yeah,
song, bro, and they can stick
yeah.
it on SoundCloud, and it's just sitting there, and
It watered that shit down,
and
man.
the bots will take over, and they'll give you like 300, 400 plays. I got, I put like a song, 12-year-old song up there a couple months ago, and within 5 minutes, this bot just kicks in, write me a song.
You read the comment?
Yeah,
I don't know what you mean.
uh, yeah. Just, I mean, I can't write a song on the spot like about you. I don't know anything about you.
What you saying about the bots?
I was saying like the bot within about 5 minutes of my upload said, I'm about to spam your song and give you 400 plays and gave me a link to like follow it to, I'm sure, pay more money for more plays. That's the kind of
Right,
shit,
right,
that's the
right,
kind of
right.
shady shit that happens on such a low level that I can imagine it happening all over the place. There's sites you could just buy a thousand YouTube plays for
Oh,
$500 and spike it. It's it's silly, man.
nigga,
I
you
don't
can
know if
buy
I want a
fucking
part of all that
likes.
shit.
You can buy likes and friends on fucking social media, bro.
Yeah.
Uh, what I was about to say. So, where you getting your beats from?
My
If you don't
my
want to
beats
take up your source, you don't want to give it out.
my beats back in the day were from some online exclusive producers and also a couple of homeboys that I was close to in high school that have moved from here to Baltimore that did their own music thing. So it's a little bit all over the place. I mean, I ain't gonna front. I back in the day, in like 2002, 2003, you could hop on certain websites and producers were putting their beats on there tag free so that up and coming artists could just download them, do what they
Man,
wanted with them. And I was always appreciative of that because I mean I was gonna work it out. I mean I was a senior in high school, freshman in college, working a full-time job, paying college tuition. I didn't have thousands of dollars to blow on music, so it was always
right,
nice.
right.
It was always nice to have that.
Man, I remember my homeboy and I they had fucking ripped off a fucking zip file because Fruity Loops was way too expensive for me at that time. Fuck. And so we got that shit, nigga. We started playing with
Yeah.
it. We're like, fuck this shit, nigga. I was happy when I got the dun dun
Oh
dun.
my.
I was like, oh shit.
I never messed with the production stuff. It was beyond me, man. I ain't gonna lie.
I respect him,
There was
bro.
some stuff that was just nope. I'm cool. I'll just write words and make.
Right, 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 right. Got you, got you. What the fuck? I ain't motherfucking.
Well, why don't I mean we can jump over to the time discussion or the straw discussion if
Oh, if you want to jump that out the way, cool, man, dude. Okay. So where are you standing at on this?
on the straws.
Yeah.
Look, a straw is a tube.
But a tube could also have a non-exit. Like you have like a beaker, you know what I'm saying? Like a tube like inside a science lab. It goes in one way and it's blocked from the other side. So you can't really say a tube. Like a human could be a tube if you say
All right.
the top is
Hey, how many holes does your shirt have?
it's a good question.
No.
It's a good question. No, I'm digesting it. You know what I'm saying? Hold on a second. Oh yeah, how's gonna start that? Okay. Logically I'll go with four.
Logically, right? So how can you not say
Logically.
logically a straw has two?
Fuck my
I mean,
logic.
there's three. There's
No, I get you, man. I like seeing from a different point of
yeah.
view. But
So when you hole punch a piece of paper, how many holes?
one,
Okay,
definitely one.
definitely one. But the paper's flat. If it was a stack of papers and you punched it through, all right. If you got 10 papers and you hole punch 10 pieces of paper, how many holes?
Okay, I got you. Because if you were to take each sheet of paper off, each one of them have an
Yeah.
individual hole, so it'll make
So you
up the
got
10,
10 holes.
10 holes.
But
Gotcha.
with a straw, all you're really doing is cutting plastic on one end, cutting plastic on the other. You're creating a tube for fluid to move through it. Like it's the whole. Is it a tunnel? A hole? Nah, it's not a hole. It's the definition of the word that screws you up in the head.
Okay.
Because
I like that
a,
example.
a hole is not a hole is not a one end and the other end thing. It's like a golf hole. It's a hole in the ground. It's not supposed to have another
Okay.
end, another opening.
Still fucks with me. All right, man. I'll give you that one, bro.
Oh, we won't talk about black holes then.
Well, I think black holes is a creation of another universe, but that's another
Is it
topic.
what?
Is the creation of another? Okay, so
I'm gonna put
I
you on the
strongly
spot here,
believe
man. You're
in.
gonna have to back up. You're gonna have to back up that knowledge here. A black hole is a creation of another universe. You gotta elaborate on that.
Yes.
You
What?
have to elaborate a little bit. A creation?
All right. It's two ways I see it. All right. So, okay. My real thought is that it's a deletion. It's a trash bin, like on a computer.
Mhm.
So, if the world is a simulation, right?
Well,
It's highly possible it could be a simulation. I could go into science on the facts behind it.
sure.
Okay. So the thing is, I believe that just are you familiar with Grand Theft Auto,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So in Grand Theft Auto,
Procedural reality. Is that what you're about to get to here?
yeah,
Okay.
if if they become conscious, we created their whole
Ooh,
universe,
man, I
right?
like
The
that.
whole world. So the thing is, if we're allowed to create a world, then someone is allowed to create our world. Our technology didn't start till the 1600s, right? I mean, like true technology when they started finding like fucking
The Industrial
batteries
Revolution, you
and
mean?
huh?
You mean like the Industrial Revolution?
Yeah, but I'm talking about like actually like we had no clue. Like the thing is, okay, electromagnetic waves has been coming to us every single fucking day since, well, I won't say since the Big Bang, but a little bit after one star started to evolve and started letting off electromagnetic waves,
Yeah.
right? Electromag, huh?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so electromagnetic waves is the whole reason why I could talk to you right now because waves is being sent from my phone to a radio tower to you, whatever like that. Electromagnetic waves is the reason why we can convert electricity, every single thing, right? So let's say there's a civilization that found. Okay, so from actually it was the 1800s when Volta started the battery. So let's jump back 200 years,
All
right?
right.
From 1800 till now, we're able to create a small universe. Imagine if there's a planet that found electromagnetic, because every single planet receives electromagnetic waves. It's every fucking way inside the universe. There's no place you can't find it. If another planet found out about electromagnetic waves in fucking BC times, let's say like fucking
Well,
four 1,000 years before us, what they can, their technology will be way more advanced than ours, and they will be able to create. You get what I'm saying?
sure.
And the thing is, what I see is,
What does this have to do with black holes,
um,
bro?
huh? This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. If we're inside of a simulation, right? If you run in a computer,
Hmm.
if a computer get filled up with too many files, it start running slow,
Yeah.
right? The black hole is a deletion file.
I feel like I feel like that is an acceptable deduction if you're running with your theory. I was actually having this talk with a couple of coworkers the other day, um, talking about how the brain is very comparable to a computer itself, and how memories. I was trying to explain to them that I'm starting to trend in my personal life. I'm starting to forget things that my brain says I don't need to remember because you need the brain power to be doing other things other than remembering these inconsequential things. So, just like a computer has a C drive, for example, a hard drive that you stick all the stuff in and you just load it with software and files and stuff like that. It'll tell you you're running out of memory. Like it's a
Right.
key. That's a key phrase. Like running out of memory. Our brains run out of. I think our brains can run out of memory too. So what I'm starting to see is like my brain is opening parts of it that were inaccessible to me at some point, and now I have excess brain power. No pun intended. That's my
Okay.
rap name.
All
I,
right.
I have excess brain power to do things that I need to be doing that would be clogged up with memories and all this clutter and all of this stuff that a computer would be slowed down by, just like the brain is a computer.
Right.
You can become sluggish. So I don't know how to tie this to what you were saying about black holes in computers, but I just thought it was a decent segue because this is a fresh conversation that I just had like a day ago about.
Yeah.
I literally my mom, when I have conversations with her when I'm visiting her and we're talking, she brings up these things that I don't remember as a kid. I don't think like I have to tap in deep to my memory bank to try to remember these things that she is saying happened in my life. I don't know if
But the crazy thing is that it's there.
yeah,
Supposedly
it's like
that the brain remembers
it's like
everything,
on an
right?
external hard drive inside of my brain, bro.
Yeah.
It's like on a G
Because
drive.
you get these things. I get trigger memory. Let's say I'm driving. This happened to me. I was going to the fucking gym. I see this dude with a red shirt on a bicycle. Thought nothing of it. I barely caught it off the side of my eye. Went to the gym. Came back the next day. Came back home. Went back to the gym the next day. Whatever like that.
Yeah.
So I totally forgot about this dude because it was totally irrelevant to my thoughts, right?
Hmm.
But the second I seen this dude inside of a red shirt again, I was like, oh, that's that dude from yesterday. But otherwise, it would have never triggered me again to even know that I remembered them.
Hmm. Yeah, she agrees. The girl in the chat with us, she agrees. You
You be able to function better. Yeah, 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 yeah. I believe that our simulation be able to function better without, because the
without
fucking
clutter,
fucking could.
without clutter. Like, think
So,
about what's happening on a local level within your brain, and then think about the next level up, which is a community. Like, you're the individual, and then the next level
universe.
up is the community, and then the next level up is a larger community. I don't know, but
I didn't see his
yeah,
face. Go
but
ahead.
the shit works off tiers. Like as above, so below. This is why I'm a little invested in the spiritual side of all this because I see a lot of commonalities between our makeup as individuals and the makeup out there in space. So when we talk about black holes,
What? Okay.
well,
So,
okay, maybe
all right.
I'm going A to Z real quick without.
No, 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 no. What I like to do is I like to throw up something that's basic and then dig deep into
Okay.
it. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You don't have to go deep from the beginning because you may not understand how deep you went to it, but you understand what it is, but I
Okay.
don't. So it's good to start off on a simple level and then just break the
All
shit
right.
down.
An atom.
Um,
An
huh?
atom.
See, that's the bullshit. See, this is why I believe in the simulation theory. Okay, if you play a video game,
Yeah.
right? Every single thing, because my degree is in computer science, every single thing is made of bits, like when you code in a computer, zeros and ones, right? If if the dude on GTA, he's coded inside the computer,
Uh
right?
huh.
So if he walks into a wall, the wall's gonna have zeros and ones, right? That stops him
Yeah.
from
It's
going through it, right?
binary. Yeah.
Okay. The thing is, every single thing in this universe is made of atoms, just like that is made of code. If I cannot walk through this because there is fucking atoms right here to stop me.
Yeah,
You know
dog.
what I'm
But
saying?
there's no proof that we're surrounded by zeros and ones.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying zeros and ones. What I'm saying is they're a lot more sophisticated. We can code zeros and ones. They can code
Oh
atoms.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's tiered. Sure. Scaled. Different scale.
Low because we can't find the fucking zeros and ones, but we can find if I go to fucking Jupiter and I was to break it down, I also see protons, neutrons, and electrons. Well, let's say electrons circling the nucleus, right? The protons and neutrons to make up an
Yeah.
atom. If I come on Earth, I see the same shit. If I go far out into the fucking universe, it's still made of all fucking atoms. Every single
Yeah.
thing is fucking atoms. Only difference between the atom between fucking gold and let's say aluminum is one has more fucking protons than the other one
Sure.
to make it a denser atom. but it's still all fucking
Yeah.
atoms. And the crazy thing is, okay, you have the nucleus,
You
right?
know, the crazy thing is, hold on, keep that thought just for a sec. The
Okay,
crazy thing is, at the middle of every atom is a black hole.
think so?
There is. You can look at an atom under a microscope. Just Google. If you got access to Google, just go ahead and Google atom under a microscope.
All right, well, if there is a species, like I believe a species that was developed before the fucking 1600s, let's say like the fucking 1000s, they can't control atoms. I believe if we keep going, we'll make our own simulation and they will eventually be able to control atoms. But the thing is, if they created us inside the simulation, somebody may have created them inside of another simulation, and it just goes back
All right.
to who fucking
All
knows
right.
who originally created the simulation. But the thing, okay, so if you take an atom, right?
Yeah.
If you shrunk a atom, if you shrunk the proton, I mean the nucleus into a soccer field, the electrons will circle around the soccer field, right? So the shitload of space, and the electrons are floating around it, right?
Yeah.
So if you condense a human body without the space between protons and electrons, a human would be the size of a because an atom isn't fully an atom isn't like a ball. It's a space where the electrons are circling a ball. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
So if you just by numbers straight off fact, you can Google this shit right now. I mean, we control atoms with our brains. This shit is made of atoms, and I can make it open and close.
Okay.
But like, the Earth will be the size of a fucking sugar cube if you took out all the fucking space inside of a fucking atom, bro. And shit, fucking like with that said in mind, is that you will be like, well, how can somebody create a simulation with that much fucking power on the computer? But you really don't need that much power on the computer because the majority of the whole universe is space. You know what I'm saying?
The majority of the whole universe is space. Is that what you said?
Look it up. 99.9% of this universe is created in
All
space.
right. All right. 1 second. So,
Okay.
uh, who who researched that? Who
Scientists. The thing,
scientists,
okay,
bro? Okay, let me tell.
no, this isn't no bullshit. This isn't some little motherfucker out of his
No, no, no. All
grandmother's
right, but
fucking
this
basement.
is where the argument is gonna pick up a little bit because we as a community as people we put a lot of investment into what a group of lab coats says as fact and truth,
Okay.
and we're conditioned to a degree to accept their reality and their truths as the truth. Why? Why? Like, okay. So if you walk the streets and you
Okay.
poll 100 people, what do you think of a scientist? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think scientist? 99 of those people are going to say some dude in a coat. Some of them might even in a lab coat. Some of them are even going to say Bill Nye. Some of them are going to say Neil deGrasse Tyson. They're gonna
Got
they're
you.
gonna have this pre-rendered idea of the person feeding them these facts in their mind.
Okay.
And that's something that I'm not ready to on and say, oh, this guy. Why? You're right. It doesn't mean that they're
Doesn't mean no.
untrue. It doesn't mean that they're untrue, but a statement like 99% of what was your statement about?
No. Okay. This is the logic about it. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you can go inside of a science lab and see the space in between the atom, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. If 99.9% of that atom is space, just the atom, right? We're putting on the localized level.
Sure.
is space. If everything inside the universe is made of atoms, then 99.9% of the universe is space. You get what I'm
So
saying?
then,
If everything is made of the same thing and every single one of these atoms have this much space, then that concludes the whole universe.
okay. So using that logic, then
Okay?
70% of my body is water,
It's water,
70% of my
right?
brain and inside of my head is water,
Got you.
70% of the earth is water. So
Water,
why wouldn't
right?
70% of the universe be water?
No. See, all right, I'm gonna break it down for you.
It's not
I'm gonna break it down for
shoes.
you. No, I'm not picking and choosing. I'm saying we go to McDonald's,
Uh-huh.
right? We find one ball. So, okay, um, we find 100 balls at McDonald's.
Yeah.
All of the balls are 100% filled in, right? So every single thing inside of this, that's every single thing inside that playpen is 100% full, right?
Yeah.
You follow me? 100%. So we go to another playpen. We totally canceling this one
That's a
out.
dope statue back
Only
there.
one percent of that ball is made of like matter, right? And the rest are congruent. So if you take it from a localized ball that's made of everything, then that one ball represents that whole. You get what I'm saying?
No.
Oh fuck my life. Okay, there's nothing that's not made of atoms. I mean, photons are massless. Um, gluons are massless. Uh, gravity, I mean, you want to believe inside of it, is also massless as well. But the things that actually has mass is only 0.1% matter.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yeah.
So if every single thing that you see is 0.1% matter, if you put it on a larger scale, then only 0.1% of the universe is actually matter.
That's I, yeah, I can't say that is accurate because we have only studied what is within our realm of sticking under a microscope, and then we assume that it's the same out there. Like we have telescopes to look into space, but we don't have there's nothing that we haven't pulled matter from any of these planets and studied them. Like we haven't brought anything back from Mars. We haven't brought anything back from Neptune. We haven't brought anything back from Venus. We brought stuff back from the moon, questionably.
But we know what it's made of
How?
because they tested through. Okay, once again, we're going through. If you don't believe in the whole scientist shit, then this won't even matter. But you can test off of radio waves exactly what a planet is made of by how it bounces. Okay, you understand how light works?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean like fully understand,
No,
not like the
maybe not.
bullshit.
Maybe not like on an astrophysicist level of understanding.
Okay,
Like
all right.
I don't know many
I'm
people.
deep down into there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't know what some song. Well, look, all right. So check this out. All the photons that leave the sun holds every single color that exists, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. Well, let me break this down for you. Radio waves. All right, I'll break it down from the longest to the shortest. Um, radio waves, microwaves, infrared waves is light. Then we have all the visible light. That's from like the green. That's like from the blue to the red. That's what we can see. We can't see microwaves. We can't see radio waves. We can't see infrared waves unless we put smoke and see it bounce off the shit,
Sure.
right? And then you have ultraviolet light, um, X-rays, which is also light, which is on the visible scale as well. But we only can see a portion of this light,
Yep.
right? So the thing is, when a photon is leaving towards the sun, whatever it hit, it's every single color. So whatever it hits, That light is absorbed into the, like, it hits this. The electron moves up. Once again, following fucking science. When the electron moves back down, the light flashes back into my eye, which is why I see this as red, why I see this as blue. Dude, you have to look this shit. All
Hey,
right, bro.
hey, my intention was not to come here and refute every single fact that science has claimed, but but
But that's
bro,
that's what I feel I'm at. You know what
bro.
I'm saying? I'm on the
All
side. I'm on the
right,
side
let
of
me let
science.
me let me back it up a little bit and just provide a bit of candor here because
Wait, you can see infrared light? Who's can see
well,
infrared?
I mean, you can see them infrared
No, no, the guy in
beams.
the comments said he can see infrared light. I want to know
Well,
how.
you can see infrared beams.
Well, if you use smoke that it bounces off of, but I'm talking about if you just, okay, your remote holds infrared lights,
Yeah,
right? When you turn on the TV, you don't see the fucking red light hitting the thing.
no, that's true.
What I'm saying is you can see infrared light
With
with a special
or
goggle,
an
like the fucking
environmental
army and shit like
trigger.
that.
Yeah,
But a human infrared light is invisible to
right.
us. Some animals they can see infrared, we can't.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. No, no. I'm talking about from a human visible light, not birds. Fucking snakes can feel fucking infrared. We can never do that shit. Implant can change that. Well, I mean, I'm just talking about from a fucking baby being born. We can't see infrared light. We can't see ultraviolet light. We'll never be able to see X-rays.
Yeah.
I mean, we can see it after the fucking machine told us what the fucking X-rays
Not
showed.
yet, but we're a young species. All right.
So let's get
Yeah,
off
yeah. What if
let's
we
get off of.
evolve?
Yeah,
What
okay,
if
we
we
can
evolve?
evolve.
223 baby? Right. You're right. We can evolve.
I don't think we will evolve. I'm gonna tell you why, right? I'm gonna tell you why. Because if you follow evolution, right? Evolution, animals evolved because they had to survive or
How do you
die.
know?
Right?
How
Huh?
do you know? Now wait a second. Hey, hey, no, no, no. I'm not. I'm disagreeing with that on a very superficial level because
Okay.
I have a lot of jokes about that. So I'm not trying to just upfront say nah, it ain't true. But part of me thinks that animals have not continue to evolve. Like part of me thinks that monkeys just don't talk to us because they know if they did and if they started communicating with us speech wise, we would just put them to work. we would sit them, we would sit them in an office. We would sit them in an office and say, "All right, man, y'all gonna start doing all this typing shit." And monkeys are just quiet
New
as kept.
slaves, huh?
They're keeping it real chill and undercover right now, and they're enjoying their time in the jungle, swinging on trees, eating bananas, fucking all
I
day.
get you. Much simpler life.
Yeah. All right, but all right.
Ooh.
Back to your.
All right, let's go back to iguanas, okay? So this has actually been studied
Hmm.
that a group of iguanas, right? So they all lived on land. They all part of the same shit. So food became scarce on land. So either you motherfucking died or you learn how to swim, right?
Okay.
So the motherfuckers that didn't learn how to swim, they died. The motherfuckers that bullied their way on land, they lived. The motherfuckers that learned how to swim and eat, they made it with other iguanas that could swim kind of like them. Eventually, the whole fucking iguana broke apart where some of them had slight gills where they could breathe underwater for 5 minutes, where the other ones on land that couldn't. Evolution was a part of survival. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the elephants. The elephants, these elephants that's been tested throughout the past 100 years. They had long fucking tusks, right?
Hmm.
The poachers will come, they will kill the motherfuckers with the long tusks, let the motherfuckers sit and die. So elephants start noticing that the motherfuckers with the long tusks, they're gonna fucking kill them. So they started mating with elephants with shorter tusks. Over a period of time, their tusks became a shorter throughout the whole fucking species inside that one little jungle,
Yeah.
right? So evolution was a part of survival. What I'm saying is we don't need to see infrared to survive. If there was a time to where infrared became survival, then other motherfuckers would mate with people who could kind of see infrared until you eventually mate to someone that can see infrared. But as long as it's not as a part of your survival, you really don't need to evolve.
Sure, but what, like you mentioned, what you need to survive is really not within your control either. The evolution happens on a mass scale, on a planetary scale, to where we don't. I'm not saying specifically for infrared, but have you seen the movie Waterworld?
Yeah, well, the motherfucker grew fucking gills and
Yeah.
shit. I'm from the old
So
school.
that, I mean, he grew gills because the world disappeared underwater and turned into like a second Atlantis.
Hey man, I'm stating facts, man. You going to science fiction?
That's not science fiction.
Come on, man. That dude don't fucking exist. Kevin Costner ain't got no fucking gills. If I go check him right now.
Okay, the movie is science fiction, but the concept of him evolving into something that he needed to become to survive is exactly what you're talking about.
I'll debate anything. Go ahead, my bad.
Yeah. Debate.
I get the concept, but I mean, like fucking
We-
Iron Man end up building fucking amazing suits and being locked in a cave. I don't.
Yeah.
Not everybody gonna fucking do that, bro. It's like we won't ever need to. I think the brain needs to evolve, but I don't think as a human, our little
So
five
then,
fingers and toes and
so
shit.
then, why does the brain need to evolve? What is the outside circumstance forcing our brains to evolve?
No, I'm saying that's the only thing that would evolve.
Yeah, but it would have to have a reason. Why can't we regress? I mean, a lot of people will argue that we are regressing mentally as a whole.
No, no, I get no, I get
So
that.
why would we
But
need to evolve?
I don't say we need to. What I'm saying, if there was a cause, it would just be in the brain.
Okay. But let's hypothesize.
I think autism and Asperger's is a form of
Yeah,
evolution.
I think if you're on the spectrum, it is currently looked at as a regression, but it's not. It's the opposite. Like people label that a disability. I hate that word.
It's not.
Yeah, yeah, I hate
It's
that
not.
word. Uh, uh yeah, it's not. My younger brother has Asperger's, and he speaks on a level that it takes a lot of focus and attention
I
to,
know.
yeah, to tap into what he's saying. So no, I agree.
Yeah, yeah. You see, I mean, so I think that's part of evolution of the brain. But I mean, a shitload of people who can't communicate, barely communicate with each other. I don't know if it will exist because
Oh, you're talking about
in order
hive
for a
mind?
community to, huh?
Are you talking about hive mind now? Hive
Yeah,
mind.
I believe that's the way. That's the way we're able to build things by communication. A lot of people with Asperger's or autism they're very intelligent,
Mhm.
but they have a hard time of
Yeah.
communicating, or they choose who they want to communicate with. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, we need people like this because probably some of our greatest inventions was made by somebody on the spectrum, but we just didn't have a test to know if they were or
So
not.
what do you think of telepathy being an evolution, a mental evolution? So wait, just think about this for a second.
Okay.
Uh, Communicating one on one and in personally, like speaking to another human being, it's sort of taken a back seat to texting, digital conversation, all of that. I, I like studying these sorts of historical trends of what human beings did and how they communicated and what the most effective means of communication was for the time. So if we do this for another 10 to 15 years, you know how we were talking just yesterday, we're saying like terrible at texting. I can't get I
Yeah, yeah.
can't
It's where
get
emotions
emotion
come from.
across, tone, diction. You don't really you have to assume the tone that I'm speaking
The
in.
joke.
Yeah. Over time, I
Yeah.
believe that will go away and people will have experienced digital communication so much that they will be able to understand tendencies. Even as far as like smileys go and stuff like that, and emojis and stuff like that, they help convey. They help make an impression and a conditioning of what words get grouped together in what way, and your eyes read them, and your mind registers them, and it goes into the memory bank. I think it's a stepping stone onto a much bigger, long term transition to a different way of communicating that really kind of like broadband internet works, just gets better and better over time. Ex-
Okay.
okay, so all broadband internet does is exchange data back and forth between places very quickly and very efficiently. It arguably does it better than the human being because if I need to get something, if I need to tell you something, I have to use technology to do it because you live 600 miles away, 700 miles away. But, but, what if I don't have to do that in 20, 30, 40 years? What if I don't have to pick up a phone?
But okay.
I'm not. I'm
All
not
right.
saying
I can see it because all right, I was about to say, but could there be an if I'm trying to talk to
I.
you,
Uh-huh.
right? Would there be an interference on someone else that's crossing our waves? But the thing is, um, Bluetooth. If I'm listening to a Bluetooth at the gym and another dude listens to a Bluetooth at the gym and still giving off Bluetooth, but he's not listening to my music, it's on a different wavelength. So it's able to go to him directly without any interference.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Off science thing. This is just straight out for anybody. Do you believe in free will?
That's a heavy question. That's a heavy.
Oh, body language is very important. It's about 85% of our communication.
That's a heavy question for 1 a.m.
I
on a
have
Saturday.
zero belief in free will, so if you want to debate that, we could go on.
Nah, man. I mean, we could just debate. Like,
We could just open conversation. It don't even have to be a debate.
all right,
Because of body language, there is no free
because
will.
of body.
True, true. because because when you get pissed off, you really don't have the fucking choice of folding them goddamn arms. I mean, you could try, but the body language still shows
Nah, those are
your true
muscle
intention.
memory, bro.
I get that, but it's a part of your body that sometimes you can't really control through choice.
That's because every time you've been angry since you were a kid, you've had a certain physical reaction to that
But
emotion.
if you have free will, it shouldn't. You should be able to change it immediately. I mean, okay, this is my thing. I strongly believe in cause. Okay, that goes back to my whole reason not believing in free will. I believe because causality, right?
Hmm.
Because you did this as a child, you will do this as an adult. Which, if there is a cause for you to do something, it's not free. It's a cost. You can't name anything that you've done that didn't have a cost to it. Everything moved towards something previously that you experienced. It's no. I look at the word causality. I look at the word cause as cost because it's not free anymore. Um, just because let's say like tomorrow you cannot say I can say hey man let's go eat a pile of shit. You can't freely say man I'm really going to try to enjoy this piece of shit freely. You get what I'm saying? Because you know it's thick as shit and it smells like fucking shit. You can't do it. You can't freely make a choice. There's always a cause before that makes you do something in the future.
Not registering.
Okay, give me examples.
Uh,
Gotta add humor. Name something that you think you've done freely.
uh, I'm breathing on my own.
You're not doing that freely. Your brain, the brain stem inside your body, is causing you to breathe. You can be conscious and stop yourself from breathing, but you're doing that because of something. Um,
Because I'm
you do not tell your body
Mhm.
to create new cells once you eat. You do not tell your body to build a scab on your right arm once you get a
You know
cut.
what? On an organic level, on a physical organic level, you might be right. There may not be.
No, on the overall, let's debate anything. You brought up the breathing. Let's go to something else. Still free will.
Well, choice.
Choice is an illusion, man. Choice.
Choice in the extreme example you made about eating horse manure is an illusion. Sure,
Okay,
because I don't want to eat horse shit.
but why?
Because of the
Why can't you freely choose to want to eat it?
well, I can freely choose to want to eat it. It's not an appealing choice.
But will you enjoy it?
Exactly. It's not an appealing choice. My brain can say, hey, there's a lot of other options for you to eat that are of a higher quality than eating this horse shit.
Okay, so there's a cause because there's something better. You choose
That's
that, right?
variability. I don't know if that's a cause. That's
You don't think that's a cause? You don't think because this shit might kill you or make you throw up, you won't eat it?
no, it's because I have options.
Cause? Okay. You heard the word you just used?
I have options.
Cause?
So,
No?
no, I'm interested. Like, explain to me how having options equate to a cause.
There's a cause why I sat in front of you right now
Hmm.
with the bowl of that options are cost. If I sat in front of you right now with a bowl, would you eat it?
With a what?
With the bowl of the manure?
No,
No, you wouldn't. Cause what?
because I know what it is.
Okay, there's a cause. Just give me another example. We already killed that one.
But but free will is a heavy subject. We're not.
Free will means you can freely do what you want without any cause. I'm not framing this into what if Spider-Man had Superman powers and Superman was just a regular
All
human,
right.
who would win in a fight, Superman or
Uh,
Spider-Man? You know what I'm saying?
sure.
I'm not framing this. Wait, let me let this inside. Hey, hello? I don't think so.
We have a third conversationalist.
2,
Oh, that's
3.
dope.
I mean, you could have joined, but
We
you
should
ain't.
have 223 baby join.
If you want to join, jump in.
Jujitsu.
Jiu-jitsu.
I,
I
I know.
don't
I
know.
know kung fu.
Give me an example. No, jiu-jitsu was the first thing that Neo learned on the Matrix.
No, that's kung
Uh,
fu. I
huh?
thought it was kung fu. He says, yeah, Keanu Reeves, the quote is, I know kung fu.
Right. No, give me an example besides any kind of example that you did something totally free with no cause.
I can't quantify like that question. Totally free with no cause. I do I'm doing so first of all, I have to explain that I honestly truly believe in, and you're gonna argue with me on this one, I could already tell. Uh, I am I, I limit the amount of external influence on my existence on a daily basis. My choices come from the inside out, not the outside in. I'm not a product of my environment. Now,
Can you can okay, hold on. I'm gonna go with you on that one. Let's go deep within inside. Okay. Let's say like someone has autism, right?
uh-huh.
They're not influenced by anything outside. They're strictly inside. Because they have autism, it's hard for them to communicate. That has nothing to do with outside. That's still not free will because the brain is causing them to react differently. You get what I'm saying?
It's free will for you to believe or for someone else to believe for you. Yo, yeah. I like that question.
But even look, this is what I said. No, no, this
That's
is
a
what
good
I said.
question.
If you're born with a condition that causes you to, let's say, not see color, let's say like Mark Zuckerberg, whatever, like that, he can't freely choose to see color. Someone with autism can't freely choose to communicate. This has nothing to do with external external effects. It's you. This just like you said that you think that you have the free will of choice because you think from within inside. Just like you said, it's your own choice. It's not really your choice because you had no free will on what type of brain you're going to have because all brains are not. It's not like we all have a fucking the exact same processor as a computer and then we choose what we do. Every single one of our computers are different. It's the size of you can change your thoughts or something, and that's you. The way your brain, let's say like someone is psychopathic, they lack the frontal lobe, which lacks
Yeah.
empathy. They can't choose just to have empathy. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know, I get that.
So even if you're going from your theory on within, it's still not free will because you didn't have the choice to choose this
We're
brain.
programmed by memories, I believe. Oh, that. Hey, that's
And
a DNA
and I believe that's
imprinting,
nature.
epigenetics. Yeah, that's fun stuff.
I believe that's nature because somebody can have the same body size, the same brain, but if I live inside the ghetto and you live inside New York, we're going to think differently.
That's
It's
You're gonna
because
think
of our.
differently if you allow the to dictate and penetrate who you become.
No, no. I'm just putting. Not you, man. Like, okay, you think deeper than a normal person, so you don't allow that to happen. But I'm just saying, like, it can change a whole person's thought process by just being in a different nature, like being nurtured,
Nature versus
like being
nurture,
nurtured
yeah.
in a different
Sure.
way. But what I'm saying is, even if you stick with your just, you don't let outside influences come inside, your brain causing you to think a certain way is not giving you free will.
What if we don't know what free will feels like?
We never will because always something causes us to do something. I'm not gonna go with the fucking determinism theory that everything is already determined and we're just following the path like we're inside of a movie.
Why not?
But
What's your big gripe? What's your main gripe with that? No free will? What? I don't understand.
what I'm saying, I mean everything is determined in the end. I mean, unless some type of fucking hold on.
Are we having like a spiritual conversion this evening?
No.
Are you
Oh, I'm already stuck in my head. I'm hoping, honestly. I don't sit here from my fucking ivory tower and expect like I don't have a god complex. I sit here with all the thoughts inside of my head, and I honestly hope someone helps me see something
all right?
differently. But if you don't, then I'm just keep my thoughts. I don't mind seeing from a different perspective.
I feel you.
So whatever input you have, I'm not sitting there like, oh, this dude's an idiot. I mean, every single perspective. Because one time this dude said, I said, there's no use for an alien to visit Earth because if they have the power to travel intergalactic, then they have way more technology than we'll ever have, and we're pretty much useless to them, right? This was my thought inside of my head the whole time. One dude broke it down to me. He said that okay, we are a lesser being than the person that's coming here, but aren't we taking the technology that we create from animals that are lesser beings, like a spider web, how a dragonfly flies with four different things, and it made sense. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You don't just because you're a superior being doesn't mean you can get clues on how to better your technology from a lesser being.
Yeah, no, no, I agree.
So I love that. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't sit there and was like, oh, well, I'm about to bullshit my way out of this and say I didn't lose this fucking debate. I said, man, that's awesome. Thanks for the info.
Yeah.
So whatever put out there, I hope you make me see
Well,
good.
I didn't know we were debating even.
Oh no, we're having a friendly conversation. But I mean, if you go against what I
Oh,
say, you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. Well, free will's a tough one, bro, because I mean
But do you see I
that's
mean,
one of the
not
top
framing
five
saying,
debated philosophical topics of all time. So I don't think we're gonna either of us is gonna be able to win the other one over when it comes to that in the matter of a 25-minute Periscope conversation. I, they've been battling
I just want to say
for millennia.
fucking point is.
Yeah, I need sounder understanding of how you define free will. If it is if it's choice, and if you believe that choice is an illusion, then I can argue that it isn't on
Okay.
on specific choices that you have. You do have the free will to choose
Well,
to
can I just
choose
say
good and
one study
bad.
they did?
Yeah. Wait. Let him go ahead. Just,
Yeah,
Okay.
you've got.
Um.
Go ahead, Brennan. Go ahead, man.
Okay. Thanks. There's a study. So they monitored the brain, and they told them, like for example, they did other studies other than this, but for example, pick the red cup and
wait,
the blue
Brandon.
cup.
Can I say? Is
Yeah.
that the one where the brain thought of it and then their consciously was when they
Yeah.
tested out the conscious was after the brain already thought of it already?
Yeah. So you wouldn't be aware, but your brain already was. Like
Yeah.
your conscious self, you weren't literally thinking that you were gonna do that, but your brain already did it before you did it, kind of
Oh
almost.
man, that's a good point, X.
So it's
Because the thing
predetermined.
is, if your brain thinks of something and then you choose to do it, and then your conscience kicked in and give you the reason why you did that, was it already predetermined before you were conscious of even thinking why this was the right decision?
Yeah.
That way, determinism is 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, if people say, "Oh, like what's the difference?" Because if you feel like you have free will, and it's like, "Oh, what's the
Yeah,
difference?" And I kind of get that point
it's
too. It
semantics
doesn't
at that
matter.
point. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's just an interesting idea.
it is. I mean,
But what?
think about how convoluted free will has gotten over time. Just think about how convoluted existence has gotten over time. When the Neolithic period was happening and people were walking around with maybe 10 decisions to make throughout their entire day,
Okay.
they had a level of free will to learn new.
No, they didn't.
Huh. Well, then how did we expand? How did
Let me argue with you on that one. Okay, this is the thing.
how did
Do you know
creative thought
why?
expand? That's what I want to know specifically.
Okay, this is the thing. This okay. Why those people stayed inside that era? Why you know why Egypt, Greece, Italy prospered before all of them?
Because they set up like rudimentary versions of capitalism.
Well, also because they live near a river, like the Nile River, the one lived near the Mediterranean. So food was abundant. So with food being abundant, you can do extra shit. It's kind of like McDonald's and Wendy's being here available. You can go to work. But let's say the people of that era, the Neolithic era, they had to hunter gather. They had to search for food all day, so they had no time to build up technology. Every single because right now there's a thing on Netflix called Puturambo. People living today still haven't found the wheel yet, like literally the round wheel in Papua New Guinea, because every single day they're hunting to find food. So as long as you're hunting to survive, you can never do extra shit. So their free will wasn't really free will. Their free will, their choice to find food all day was a causality for them to
Well, I
live.
don't know about you, but I got to work 8 hours a day, and then I come home and I'm a husband and a dad for 4 or 5 hours. So I could understand how people living that sort of life would feel like they have no free will either. But if I had a lot of spare time on my hands and I had the ability mind wandering, which is what we were talking about yesterday. If I could just sit there and let my brain create and go into a mode, the default mode network, where it literally has the capabilities of sending me into a daydream state, the same state that my mind is in when I'm asleep, dreaming, then I believe we are tapping into the free will realm that we are not accustomed to tapping into and have no idea what that feels like. That's the unknown to me. So
In dreams, the subconscious.
when you when
What? What?
when you chop
What?
free will off completely and say it's impossible, it's a little difficult to say because we've done so much with creation and creating stuff, like just ideas. Is an idea not free will?
No, an idea is something from a previous time that caused you to think that way. If you
Huh?
want to get a better, huh?
How?
If you want to get a better job, right? You know why you want to get a better job? Let's say you like your job, but you're not making enough money, but you want to be able to support your
But
family.
this is a
You get in a better job because, like the word causality, bro, goes deep, man. Because you wanted to provide a better life for your
that
family.
I agree. That is an expanded description of what I'm trying to say here. Just
There's no decision you ever made didn't have a cause. Do you have anything to say, Brendan? Anything that everything has a cause behind it.
an idea,
Yeah,
an idea, a free idea that my brain comes up with, a creation that has not existed before.
What?
That
well, that's the thing. So if I ask you to like think of any city on Earth right now,
Yeah,
yeah, and then if you pick one,
sure.
if you might be floating in your mind, you pick
I
one.
got it.
It's like, why did you come? Yeah, why did you come to that conclusion in that one city? Did you like? Did your brain come up with it just because some random stored memory chemical balance, some random thing happened during your day or whatever?
Probably.
Like, why didn't you pick the other thousands of cities on Earth?
That's an interesting question. But here's the thing. If you ask me that question over and over again, I'm gonna come up with a different city.
Because you don't want to come up with the one you came up with last
No,
time.
I'm willing to make the mistake of coming up with the one that I came up with last time, but I don't think it'll happen. I don't.
But there's still a cause of why you chose this other city. Like you couldn't think of a city that you wouldn't make up a name. You're thinking of a city because you heard of the city's name before. But back to okay, this is the thing. Let's say just pick any movie you watched before.
Okay, done.
No. This is not one of
Oh,
those. Just
okay.
tell me the movie.
All right.
Tell me the movie.
The Godfather.
Okay, Godfather, right? Fuck, I'm not too familiar with it, but but what I'm saying is the movie has already played out, right? But if you
Yeah.
watch the movie over again, would you think that the people inside the movie have free will with the choices they made to, like, say, join the mafia or kill somebody? Or was it, if it was already determined before they started, was it really free will?
I just start thinking about the script writer writing this stuff down and coming up with shit for the
Was
characters.
it Fred Coppola or something?
That's the free
Yeah.
will to me, is the character creation, the script, the words on the page. Those
No, because if you go into minds, it's like Seinfeld or any type of TV show. When people write movies or TV shows, they relate them to someone that they knew in the past.
Yeah.
uh, I mean, is that
So there's a causality in that.
so what's a science fiction writer relating to in the past when he's creating science fiction?
Let's say like Star Wars,
No,
like Luke is back in like the 70s.
no, not just that. I'm a fictional
Gambling is not free will.
a, a fictional
That's an
story,
addiction, too.
something that's set in like the distant future. Have you seen Blade Runner? Have you seen Event
That's
Horizon?
it.
Yeah.
Um, something like that. There's no precedent to pull from.
Dude.
There's no muse.
Yes, there is. Okay, you look at Blade Runner. These motherfuckers have cars. Do they have buildings? Do they have jobs? They have everything that we have now, but it's in the future.
The setting,
But they're pulling from something. Now, if you make a movie with like a fucking big glob of like liquid flowing and just film it.
what?
I'd watch that movie.
That sounds like a trash movie.
But I'm saying that's the only way you have no precognition of what this movie should be, you know? But then again, you don't even have the free will because the liquid is moving on its fucking own.
Okay, so then why does the saying that was ahead of its time exist?
It's like the thing, like, why did Tesla discover electricity or whatever, stuff like that? Eventually it would happen. It's just he was the one. And Einstein with theory of relativity, eventually it would happen.
No, but okay, we could go all the fucking way back, okay? So that a guy, Faraday, he found electromagnetism. He fucked with shit. He fucked with 1,000 different things and found one way to find electromagnetism. Henry Hertz found a way to make a formula of it, right? So a bunch of scientists got together and then they end up making, because they had a theory that you can use this shit through radio waves. You can send out fucking information through light. So that's when Tesla came inside and made the fucking, to be able to send information through radio waves. It was all from somebody else. It wasn't like he was just sitting inside of his house and popped up with the idea.
You know I mean, that's what science
sometimes
does, bro.
Sometimes it happens like that, though.
I mean,
like Einstein, he was working forever. It didn't really pop in his mind, but he was working like constantly. He did thought experiments where he sat alone and just thought, and then that's how he came up with a lot of ideas.
Okay, he was curious, just like the time he found out the time dilation. Like, let's say if I'm sitting still and somebody's moving inside of a train, it fucked with him that if this train is moving 60 miles per hour and the guy hits up a ball inside the ball inside the train go up and down, but to the viewer, the ball actually traveled about 3 feet. So all he did was see something inside real life, question it, and find answers to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's science's job.
I know you don't believe in science.
I do. No.
I'm just fucking with you, bro. Hey, it doesn't text message you. The polygon man.
I believe in science, but 500 years ago, we were operating under a geocentric model of the solar system. So, I mean, I also know that science is a work in progress, and it's always working.
Wait. That's a whole nother argument. Because the thing is, during when the philosophers in Greece, the fucking times, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates. They had a guy who said that we rotate, we go around the sun, right? So all that shit was lost during the Dark Ages. So then Galileo came back up with the idea. The only reason why this idea, even though they had the science behind it, was because the church. Inside the Bible, the earth was considered the middle, and then the sun revolved around it. So anybody who thought differently was put in jail. Galileo spent his last 10 years in house prison because he thought differently from the Bible. So the thing is, you had to relate to the Bible in order for something to be true. So you can't really blame it on science. Do you follow me there? No, come with the argument.
No, okay.
You don't understand how powerful the church was at this time. It's not as powerful. It's a whole lot less powerful than it is now. Come on. I'm here, bro.
All right. There's an argument that science is a branch off of the church and that it's sort of running under its own religious infrastructure. It's built like a religion. I mean, it is literally.
Well, what does carbon dating the Earth to see how old it is, or putting a device in a tree to see how old it is, what does that have to do with a religion? It's just trying to find things. What is an apple falling from the tree and thinking, why does it fall from the tree? It's always trying to discover new things.
No, I'm not saying I'm going with all sciences, but I'm saying if you thought differently than what the Bible, because the apple had nothing, because gravity existed in the Bible. every single things that you brought up with science that exists inside the Bible was okay. It's when you went against the Bible, when you could one of you have
Well,
an iPad right now, look up at
well, what
Galileo
happens if you
being
go against
house,
science today?
huh?
What happens if you go against science today? What happens if I start arguing the theory of gravity with you?
No, a whole shitload of people gonna fucking fight you. I get that, but you won't be arrested. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in a certain setting, I might be if I walk into
Well, in a certain setting, I might be too. Like it's just depends on the setting. Everyone would argue
yeah,
forever. Like,
like we're
Yeah, I get that, but you don't have the fear of going to jail. You can freely
if
teach.
I walk into onto a college campus and I walk in and I walk into a science class, or if I walk into um, a high school and I start teaching against the theory of gravity, I could face repercussions.
well, the
Yeah.
repercussion
What?
would be not to be able to teach
To
because
teach it.
Exactly.
I get
that's not
that.
the science
So
of it.
opposing, so again, like to tie this back to how history viewed religion and how the church may have been an oppressive force in the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, however many centuries you want to go. Uh, I don't see much difference today with different entities having the same sort of oppression and the same sort of jurisdiction over what we deem to be like fact and truth and what is acceptable to believe in. I just feel it's shifted a little more
Because
towards
that's why they
science.
separated the separate the church and state because they don't want them to intertwine with each other. But before it wasn't like that. I mean, you can sit here and say everything's inside of a perfect world that you believe that things exist now as they did then, but it didn't.
So then
What I'm saying,
you're answering. I mean, we're sort of answering why there may not be a sense of free will uh, around today is because we are literally force fed information that we have to take as fact from such an array of larger, like non personal
Unisys, right?
entities. Church,
Well, if you don't believe some of the stuff, you go out and you do the tests yourself, do your own
yeah,
experiments, and then
be your own.
to try to disprove
Yeah,
your ideas, right?
use your.
I don't know. Yeah, would you see that? Okay, I understand where y'all coming
Well,
from, so I like that.
I
What I'm
told you
saying,
this yesterday, bro. One of the first three things I said to you when we started communicating is that my research and my statements are based on my experience as a human being. I've read like maybe 40 or 50 high level scholar books and philosophy books and science books and variety of ancient works and stuff like that, but I don't feel like I carry those as part of my bias and part of like what comes out of my mouth. My brain doesn't register it, at least. My brain is
No, right.
more.
It's just
Yeah,
gathering information, right?
exactly.
And then you
I'm
decide.
not pulling from Dante and pulling from Homer and spitting out results and sort of refined ideas.
because you're not a robot. What I'm saying is, I agree that you should read from time. I even agree with another one, and you agree with one more than the other one. So only you have. Let's say you read 40. I might be shortchanging you. I don't know, but only you have those 40 books inside your head to come up with a new product. Nobody else
But
can.
what I'm
But
saying,
it's
yeah,
not saying if you just regurgitating what someone says, then you're just a fucking robot. You're a computer.
Yeah,
but how many robots are there, bro? There's a lot of
a
fucking
lot.
robots out there.
A lot of fucking
Yeah.
robots. I'm saying. Oh yeah, they're the majority. I get that.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
so maybe free will is not apparent because 95% of people don't experience it.
But they give you the illusion of choice. Let's say like you go to the store and somebody's shitting on you because you bought an iPhone, and somebody you shitting on another person because they bought an
Well, I'm
Android.
already
So
yeah.
you think you made the choice between the iPhone and the Android, but the thing is, this is what society pushed you to buy, like one of these
But
two. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
a modern approach to free will. I'm trying to peel the layers back.
It's an illusion of choice. Because there's thousands of phones out there, but they're pushing you towards to
All
get
right,
two.
let's peel the layers back a little bit. Let's work from the inception point on instead of like using a rendered world, which is harkening back to your simulation theory and all of that. I don't want to use what we've got in front of us. I want to use what was around when the original concepts were thought up. So for free will to even exist as a term, as a colloquial term, whenever it was originated and whenever it was thought up, what was the boardroom setting? What put yourself in that time period? What was the round table discussing when free will became a topic of conversation?
But I
They
mean,
weren't
okay,
talking
right now,
iPhones and they weren't talking iPhones and Android. They weren't talking eating
but
horse shit versus eating chicken nuggets. They were talking about probably good decisions, good choices, and bad choices on a cerebral level, on a I have there were brainstorm sessions for all of this shit between their
it's fucked up.
it is.
Okay, let me say. Okay, hold on. Let me tell you what's fucked up. Because you said you don't believe in the society norms, right?
I don't believe in
So,
what the
I
expectation
mean, like you go with your own
status
thoughts.
quo. I don't believe in status quo. Correct.
Got you. What I'm saying is, no one can discuss this because no one is the universal. I don't know,
Just
like the universal moral providers. Because let's say this. Let's
uh,
say
okay.
let's say in Singapore, I'm just making some shit up right now. In Singapore, the legal age to have sex with a female is 25. Let's say like that's our 18, right?
Yeah.
They grew up on this their whole life. So the thing is, you chilling at home, you want to go out, you take a flight to Singapore, you 30 years old or 28, whatever, however old you are, you end up having sex with a 21-year-old and they fucking throw you in jail and say you're the sickest motherfuckers in the world. Is that right? She's 4 years underage. So that would be equivalent to somebody coming out here and having sex with a 14-year-old. We would say, oh, you're the worst person. I'm not justifying pedophilia. What I'm saying is we would condemn this person saying, but in his country, 14-year-old was the legal age.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? 14 was legal,
hmm
whatever.
What I'm telling you is
We would
this.
condemn that person as the sickest person on earth for having sex with a 14-year-old when that was his society's
I
norm.
guess what I'm
Just as if we
saying,
would have sex with a
I
20.
guess I
Huh?
guess what I'm saying is disregard you believe in simulation theory and you're also adhering to norms of different regions and societies. I don't see how those two go hand in hand.
No, all I'm saying is you're saying those guys sitting around talking. You really can't put a moral, a universal moral
Yes, you can.
on. Huh, you
Yeah,
can't.
you can sit back and say, I'm going to objectively question if sex with a 14-year-old underdeveloped human being is good or not.
The human brain doesn't fully grown until it's 25, right?
I don't know
So
that
they
to be
have the
true.
perfectly logical argument that her brain isn't fully developed at 21.
We're not talking about brain here. We're talking about sexual intercourse.
But
Oh,
he's
there's some
saying that
freaking
if
14
your
year olds,
brain isn't fully
huh?
developed, you're just saying that if your brain isn't fully developed, but we think, oh, she's not fully developed in other ways, right?
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm trying.
There's some 14 to 15 year olds that got more fully developed bodies than 20-year-olds.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So it's
You
like,
can't
where do you draw the line, right?
you can't have one person give you what morals should be.
That's an opinion.
I'll tell you something actually. So if you go walk down the street and you see a homeless person, most people, and he's asking for money, most people would just walk by. And but some people, if you're really a moral person, let's say, or you feel bad for this guy, you'd give him
Sure.
some money, right?
Right.
Well, what's the difference with just because we see him, right? But there's people in
That we don't.
countries that are
Right.
dying
Right.
and that are 5 years old.
Mhm.
Wait.
So it's like, why don't we send them money? It's like we only care about what we see close up, I guess. We're in our country.
Yeah, I think that has to do with I don't know if it's the right word, but just like the
Trust.
range and control and sort of the effectiveness that we know we have when it comes to our local areas and our local environments versus like how much of a difference can you really make if you send $10 over to some kid in Somalia versus handing over $10 to someone on the side of the road that you drive by every day and you see them.
Right, but I'd say it causes a great more deal impact on them. You could feed someone for a
Oh,
month
oh,
by
no question.
giving what like chump change in
No
America.
And
question.
the thing
But
about
it
it
comes down
is
to
that $10
gratification
that you
too.
sent,
It's
huh?
Yeah.
gratification is a big deal there. Like people are more prone to. Well, actually, I don't know that that's true. I guess I'm speaking for myself here. I'm more prone to help somebody that, especially when you're living in a world where if you send money to a kid in Africa, you don't know if that money makes it to them.
That's what I'm saying. Trust is a
Yeah,
huge issue.
Well, that's what the term effective altruism is finding the right
right.
ways to donate money and making sure it goes to the right
Yes,
place.
and
One thing is that $10, that guy that was on the street could have went to alcohol, and the $10 in Africa could have went to
Yes, that's
food.
true.
yeah,
Right. So it's the dilemma a lot of people
yeah,
have too, is just giving out money in the first place.
yeah. No,
I don't think there's a universal moral.
wholeheartedly agree. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's hone into that discussion real quick in that topic. Um, on a scale of 1 to 100, what is the quality of life on a universal level feel like it is to you right now? Like the happy planet, in your opinion,
Oh.
I would say under
under 50.
50%.
Okay.
There's a lot of war-stricken countries, a lot of starving people, a lot of people with disease, a lot of people with dying loved
Okay.
ones,
Okay.
right? Even though my life's
Yeah.
good, it's like it's not what I'm basing it
So,
on.
what does injecting some semblance of structure or moral authority, what does it what do you see it lowering that number? Like
Yeah.
if we're talking trajectory here, does a moral authority affecting a planet that is under 50% happiness level, does it bring it down more or does it push that number up?
If you're saying people are
If
more
I'm saying
moral than
everybody
the
woke
same,
up tomorrow and they didn't have a choice to believe in God or not, because I mean, you want to talk about free will, belief in God is kind of pretty free willish, in my opinion. But if everybody woke up tomorrow and something happened in their dreams, they got neuralized like Men in Black style, and they had no choice but to be steered with the belief that God was real, then does the number go up?
Oh, fuck shit
Does the
up.
number go up?
It goes down.
Why? Why? Why
if
would the
everyone, well,
number?
if
Fuck
everyone,
boy.
it
Why would
depends.
the number go
It
down?
depends. If everyone believed in the same God, I think it would be
Yeah.
great. Obviously,
Okay.
Okay. The
but
same
that
God, but
wouldn't
not the God
happen.
from the Bible.
Oh well, now we're just okay. All right.
I'll tell you
I can
why.
meet you. I can meet you
Because
halfway.
if you believe from the God in the Bible, then you'll have to believe that of creationism, that Adam and Eve started everything. You can never believe
What
in
if Adam and
evolution.
Eve is a metaphor?
There's like my family, for example, they're some of them Catholic, but they don't literally believe that. and a lot of people don't literally believe that.
Yeah.
But
No,
but
no.
that's the
We're
thing.
all
Like,
Yeah, it's
neuralized
hard
right
to
now,
believe
Brendan.
that a snake started slithering out of a garden and said, "Hey, eat this apple."
yeah,
We just framed
yeah.
it as if we're all neuralized and believe in the Bible.
No, I said everybody would.
Yes. I mean, is that what he
That's not
said,
what I
Brendan?
said.
I'm maybe.
He said if we all believe in God or
Yeah,
whatever.
And I said not the God from the Bible, and you laughed at me.
Yeah, yeah.
right. That wasn't a laugh like no, let's go with the God in the Bible. It was a laugh like I can see why you're saying that laugh.
Oh, okay. My bad, bro. I hopped on you because
I could see why you're saying that. Yeah, I mean it'd be a tough pill to swallow if people had to maintain that sense of accountability because that's a pretty steep hill for people to climb if we're adhering to the God of the Bible. I get it.
yeah,
I get it.
if you break down the genealogy, the Pope that broke it down from the begets inside the Bible, the Earth is 6,000 years old.
Well, that has nothing to do.
Yeah, there's light from stars that have traveled millions
Yes,
more
right.
years than that we
But
can,
I'm saying if we're all
you know.
neuralized and have to believe in this
No,
Bible,
no, no,
I'm
no,
not
no, no,
saying
no,
you.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
I
That's
get you. You know what I'm saying? I
not what
mean,
I said.
pick a better God. You know,
That's a very important distinction. I did not say if we all go to sleep tonight and wake up and we all believe in the Bible,
Christians.
the world would be a better place. No, I agree with you there. I think it might go in the opposite direction if that were the case.
We'll go back to the Neolithic era you talked about earlier.
Uh, we might. Yeah. No, what I was saying was that if we go to sleep and we're all sort of shifted in an alignment together that is that is sort of irrefutable and you can't do anything about it, but the alignment is shifted towards like the best case scenario and sort of posits you no wait a second, and it posits you on a trajectory to be the best version of yourself that you can be at all times without you even knowing it. I don't see what's wrong with that. I don't see what's wrong with
Okay.
that sort of universal control on a non-intrusive scale. Like to where
Okay.
you have the illusion of free will, but at the same time you're
Okay.
still being guided to
Okay.
prolong your existence and to better yourself and evolve yourself.
As long as you give them the illusion of free will, I think it'll work. Are you familiar with the Matrix?
Now, what's that?
The
Come
movie,
on,
The
man.
Matrix.
Movie.
Come on. Does it sound like I'm familiar with the Matrix? I would hope so.
I don't
I'm
know.
talking about
Let's go.
neuralizers and going to sleep and and being MK Ultra for the rest of your life. Yes,
Okay. I'm saying the
I'm
first Matrix
familiar
didn't
with
work.
everything.
Okay. Well, the first one didn't work out because they didn't give them free will. They made a perfect world, and it fucked with people's head that the world cannot be perfect. So they all started waking up and they fucked up the computer system.
Uh, the Matrix.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, the Matrix wasn't the real world.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you neuralize that, I mean, if you can neuralize everyone, then this isn't the real world
Well, the
either.
Matrix is basically the internet. It's the equivalent of the internet. It's an escape. It was a place you could plug into and escape the harsh realities of the real world, which was that stripped down, barren wasteland that the Nebuchadnezzar was flying around in.
But everybody was shot into that bitch, though. Some people broke out.
Yeah. Some people don't get online.
I'm saying you have to give the illusion, dude. You have to give the illusion of free choice. You can't free will. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just like we have now inside the simulation we're living in. You know, we have the illusion of free will.
You have to give the illusion. You have to appease the ego.
So you have to let people be immoral. Like some people just want to be fucked up.
No, no. Some people just want.
Well, that's just the
Some
way
people just want to let their
that's just the
ego.
way we've evolved.
it's a Nietzschean argument here that we're getting into. It's a psychoanalytical thing. I don't think people want to be evil. People I
Oh, definitely not. It's just like weird, strange chemical
yes.
imbalance that happens here. It's not like
Those are synaptical results of an environment. That is not a it's not
I
a
don't think it's the environment. I believe it's before you were born.
whew, well, I mean well,
If you're born with exactly no sympathy, who gives a fuck if I kill you? You're seeing me as evil. I'm seeing me as who gives a fuck? It's just another dead body. You're gonna die anyway. Determinism is there because you're gonna die.
oh,
that's true.
no comment.
So you think you're gonna
No
live
comment
forever?
on if we will die.
No comment.
I'll live forever.
No, that's not what I'm saying either.
You live forever, man. Okay, let's go into that. Okay, so what is
Well, one thing first. Sorry, I mentioned. I heard you mention simulation theory. I just want to say I agree that it's real.
Thank you.
Just a random thing because I heard you
catching on.
mention
He'll
it.
catch on another 10 years from now. So the thing is, what do you define as reincarnation?
Me?
Anyone?
Just being born again. I don't know.
Okay, something dies and come alive as a new form, right?
I draw the line at
Yeah.
epigenetics, to be honest, and DNA imprinting. I think
DNA imprinting. This is what I'm going. I'm going with DNA.
I think that's an illusion of. I'm sorry. I think reincarnation is an extreme sort of runaway theory of that.
I found the logic. I'm still questioning because the thing is, reincarnation. If you define it as you die as something and then you come back alive as something else, right? In biology, this is 100% logic. Every single time that you eat something, let's say like you eat a piece of chicken, that chicken had DNA. Every living thing has DNA, right? Once you eat the chicken, you do not get the DNA from that chicken. That chicken does not. You do not start growing feathers because DNA controls what grows inside your body. Your body rips apart the DNA from the chicken and reprograms it into you. So did that chicken die and then come alive inside of you? Well, born is something else. Born as a human now versus being a chicken.
It's an interesting question and idea, but I don't know.
Because it's sort of like a reincarnation. You get what I'm saying? Like, because since
you
died here and came back as something different. Because it's still your DNA that was ripped apart and recoded.
You're a man of science, so I'm not willing to just say reincarnation is impossible. I want to be enlightened when it comes to that, but
just off that frame. That's what I'm saying. Not the conscious. Not come back as the chicken doesn't take over your body and next thing you know it starts clucking that fucking chicken shit. I mean, just that DNA that made you up is basically still living inside of something else recoded. I'm still on the fence on this one. So any input is okay. I don't care if it's a dumb one or a good one. Nothing is dumb.
No, it's just because I haven't thought about that much. I was just a reincarnation. Like in my head, I'm like, oh, my whole life, I'm like, oh, it's not possible, and then never really thought about it again. So it's still an interesting idea though.
Because when you die, your energy from your body, because people are like, well, your energy goes to heaven, blah blah blah. If an animal come eat you or the insect that bites you, your DNA goes inside their body and they recode your DNA into theirs. So you live on forever because your DNA never dies. It lives on through another.
We certainly our bodies basically live on forever even if we're cremated or
right because it turns into energy.
Yeah, and radiated into space, and then if we're buried, then worms eat us, whatever, and then it continues the cycle of life.
Yeah. So is that like a form of reincarnation? Because you're actually still here, but you're just being into a different form of energy.
Right, but I think the thing of reincarnation is you kind of have to be
Conscious. Yeah.
conscious,
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
you?
No, no. I get that part 100%. You have to be. It's like if I die and I come back as an animal, then I'm gonna have fucking
Hey,
animal
look,
thoughts gonna
I
be
I
fucking
had
me. But that's
I had Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
this afternoon, and I'm pretty sure those chickens are very dead. And
oh, they're dead, but their DNA still went inside your
I
body,
have a
and your body
I don't
recovered
know,
it.
man. Maybe the digestive tract does some real weird breakdowns of components and DNA and all that. And maybe it's in the toilet and being flushed somewhere.
Something else gonna eat it.
Yeah,
It's still
yeah.
here.
Eventually.
I mean, basically, when you shit it out, it got reincarnated again into shit.
Well then, hey, maybe I'll change my
It's a
mind.
new
Hey,
form.
you're changing my mind about eating that horse shit real fast because
You're gonna reincarnate that hard
hey,
shit.
all of a sudden my taste
Shit.
buds are really craving. No.
The- And okay, this is another thought thing I had. Okay, so light, it travels at a speed,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
I have a
So,
question, real quick. Sorry.
uh,
This is kind of an overarching question and real philosophical one, to be honest. Do you want your theories, your personal theories? Do you feel driven to not prove them true, but do you want them to be true? Like the one about reincarnation. Are you attached to it, or like do you?
no, 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 no,
No,
no.
no, no. I get it, but what I'm asking like I'm asking on a sort of I'm trying to break down the process of how thoughts evolve and how people end up running with things and like adhering to concepts. Like, what would it take for you to take that conversation further? Like, what would need to happen for you to really believe that versus just like
This
throwing it
right
out
here,
there? Yeah,
this.
a conversation with
Just
someone
like
who,
just like I believe in the simulation theory, right? So it's deeply embedded into my brain that we're inside of a
so you
simulation,
just
right?
need someone
If you
to
prove me wrong, you
agree.
prove me wrong,
You
huh?
just need like on a surface level, you just need someone to agree with you.
No, no, no. I don't need you to agree with me. I agree with it 100.
I'd say
percent
I'd say just further
Okay.
evidence, and
Yeah.
then you'd be like, oh, it's just value.
Is
Yeah.
someone agreeing with you? Does that register as evidence? I'm
No,
just no.
no, no.
I'm not trying to come off like I'm not trying to do anything ulterior here. I'm trying to break down like the mental,
The thought
yeah, the
process.
thought process of how people confirm belief. like, like
Well, the thing is, okay,
yeah.
were you ever a Christian?
I mean, I feel like I'm partly Christian right now.
Okay. But other people confirm your belief by them going to church, right?
No,
I
no,
mean, like
because that's not
other
the
other.
part. That's not the part that I believe in. I,
Okay, what I'm saying, I'm a guy that believes in the facts. Like until you prove it to me,
right.
then I take facts. I take facts from six different points of views. I first go into why this cannot be. And then I go into
Yeah.
why it can be because every single time I have a deep belief in something, even if I fucking believe in that fucking I'm making a bullshit thing. All eagles are created from oil, right? I will study for a whole fucking day of why this is total bullshit because I always think that somebody will come against me and have this argument with me. I don't care if I hold this thought
Mhm.
inside of my head for the rest of my life without ever discussing it. But I want to know, like it has to fit in my head logically. Why eagles are made of oil. I don't care if you believe it or not. I don't care if anybody believes it.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I don't believe in anything that I can't try to
Right.
Cool.
explain. I don't if or have logic and have evidence of
Yeah, you
some
have to have
sort.
supporting facts, man, because otherwise you just sound like a flat earther. If one of y'all flat earthers, you
Yeah.
ain't going there,
No, no,
bro.
no.
And that by
Big
evidence I
negative.
mean
Big negative.
actual evidence, not flat
Now, I
flat
do
earther.
enjoy the moon discussion a little bit and the history of us going to the moon, but that we'll save that for another
Yeah,
day.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the oh no no did your question get answered about the
Um,
thought process?
yeah,
Because we could go deeper into it, bro.
yeah. You mentioned like what you believe in has to be rooted in facts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting talking point for me. Like we started this whole conversation with like, what is a fact? What do you base your reasoning and your sort of ingestion for facts off of? Like, what does something have to? What are the check marks that has to that constitute a fact for you?
Like Brendan said, something that I can test personally.
Yeah, and things that can't be argued and have been proven over and over again.
Right. That's
That's like Earth revolving
okay.
around the sun. Like it's something
Like
easy like
let's say
that. That's
someone
proven over and
let's say
over.
like someone say sound has a speed, right? So you think that that's total bullshit. Now if I go outside and I hit something, or like let's say like something fast travels faster than the speed of sound. Let's say like a fucking jet. I can see the jet move and then the sound coming. Like I can test the shit out.
And breaking the sound
Right.
barrier.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go off fucking unicorns and shit that if
Oh
50 million
yeah,
people
no, that's
tomorrow say
silly.
there's unicorns,
That's
I won't,
silly.
I won't believe you.
That's silly. Um. Okay. On that note, uh, no, I don't want to shift back to the spiritual conversation quite yet because I still want to I want to the whole fact based thing. That's sort of the backbone of science, right? Is
Right.
testing and retesting and retesting and reproving,
Retesting, yeah.
retesting, retesting, retesting. Okay, did that just come up out of thin air? The scientific method was it? What did it? What was its predecessor?
It was done. Okay, like when I told you about Faraday, right?
What? No,
He was just curious. He liked to fuck with shit. Like his mentor blew up some shit and fucked up his
I'm
arm.
trying to compliment
All
my.
it did,
I'm
huh?
trying to compliment my earlier statement that science is like a runaway form of religion and infrastructurally very close and similar to it. The scientific method, huh?
Who's their god though? Who's their god though? You keep saying religion.
Science.
Can you have a religion without a god?
Uh,
Oh, X, wait. Answer that question. Answer this one. Where do you go when you die?
so
Well, I
if
think
I have to,
so. Oh, I'll just answer
yeah, if
one
I have to
question.
think about something for too long, I don't know the answer to it.
Okay, where were you at in 19? No, where were you at in like 1859?
Where were my ancestors?
No, where were you?
Where were you?
My my
Non-existent, right?
DNA composite was
Oh yeah. It was definitely in the
in my
ancestors, but I'm talking about
ancestors
you, consciously,
in
consciously.
eight.
You know, you didn't exist yet, so that's one thing. You as a
This
human,
is this is my honest belief. Where I was at in 1859 is where I would be in 2159. I don't exist,
and I agree with
I
you.
exist, and then I don't exist again. I didn't bitch about not existing in 1859 to 1870. I didn't give a shit. I think I came here crying because I might have not even wanted to come here. That's why babies cry when they get here.
Yeah.
So I just go back into non-existent. That's all I believe. Now I like playing around with the fact, like when I talk about reincarnation, I like thinking outside the box and just not joking, but like seriously just talking, just having a conversation about it. But I don't believe I'm gonna be a fucking chicken next life. But I'm saying
Yeah.
I honestly believe that I will go back to where I was in 1859.
I
You can argue against that if you just want to have a
Nah,
conversation. I don't mind.
it's not. I don't even want to necessarily argue against it. It's just I'm trying to tie it all back. I'm trying to visualize a composite of all your strong beliefs, and I don't see how we can even ask where we were in 1889 and have
But we didn't exist.
What I'm saying is, you did not have a conscience then, and when you die, you will not have a conscience later.
okay. I don't want to sound like a wacko when I make this statement,
Okay.
but I'm gonna say it. I don't have stone cold hard proof if we're living in a simulation theory and a simulation. I don't have proof that 1889 wasn't a week ago.
True.
So I don't have.
I don't think that has to do with simulation, though. I think if we were in a simulation or not, you still couldn't.
Well, what if?
See, I like that. I don't know if Brandon was getting at that point, but the thing that I love about the simulation theory is that if some dude was to come here right now and say all of y'all
All
inside
this
the
shit is
simulation,
fake.
right? The thing is, you still have to go to eat inside this simulation. You still have to abide by the fucking laws that was programmed into the simulation. Gravity still exists. You still have to breathe oxygen. Every single. And if he comes to say this is a simulation, y'all keep simulating, and he leaves, nothing changes. You can't say, "Well, we're inside a simulation. I'm not real. I'm going to starve myself to death and see if this is real or not." You just starve to death.
That I don't know about
Yeah.
that because what happened?
What?
What happened in the Matrix? When you unplug from the Matrix, what happens?
If you unplug without a phone call, you
No,
die.
right. But if you unplug with the phone call,
With the phone call, then you go back into fucking
no, you
Zion.
wait. Yeah,
No, but I think what he's saying is the simulation is everything. It's still what we see. It's still Earth, still our galaxy, still all the planets, still every living
Nothing
being,
changes.
but we're just in a simulation. Yeah.
You still have to abide by the. You're not going to be able to jump 20 feet tomorrow because the dude said you're inside of a simulation.
Yeah, there's laws of physics and
Yeah.
everything. Everything's the same.
My biggest question was to Christians. If this was like a 13-year-old school project for the summer to create a simulation, right? And this is us. If this little dude comes to Earth and he says, well, this is a simulation for y'all who don't believe I'm going to erase Africa right now, and he erases Africa with his fucking delete thing. And we look at Africa and it's all just water there, right?
Mm.
And then he says, I'm going to bring it back, and he brings it back. And then he's like, okay, y'all continue with our simulation. Do you still believe in your Christian God, or do you believe him as God because he created everything like your God did?
I would believe in him because he's proved it and just showed it, and that would be remarkable.
What do you being partially still Christian? Would you still believe? I mean, like, let's say like you said your family is still like Catholic, whatever. Would you think that they would move towards him being God or still believe in a Christian God?
The way I know them enough, I'd assume they would believe. If they see some crazy laws of physics and they're basically seeing a God, I'm sure they would believe that.
Okay.
And same thing as goes for a Christian God. If Jesus returned or some crazy shit, I'd believe that.
Yeah, you have to. It's here.
Yeah.
Where are you at, X? I wish a Christian was in this freaking chat room.
Yeah, someone to really argue.
Yeah, because X is half-ass, you know?
Well, yeah, I can only. I'm not a
Hello, NLV.
Hello?
What?
I'm from Kazakhstan. You know Kazakhstan?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Kazakhstan.
Yes.
Yeah, Astana is the
Yes.
capital.
I will dream. Yes, I will come. USA. USA is great country. Yes.
Wait,
USA.
yeah, it's okay.
USA
asking
is.
USA.
It
United
was a
States
great
of
country.
America is great country. I love America, but I never have been USA. But I dream. I want to be USA. I don't speak English. I'm sorry, my English.
Stop it.
No, you speak.
I am start.
Fine.
Okay, we're back. Okay.
Hey, he had a dream, man. He's wanting to come to the
No, I get
U.S.
that.
and
Bro,
start
he
anew.
just
Man.
woke up from the neuralizer and you just booted his ass out, man.
Yeah.
Fuck my life. So,
Bro, you ruined it.
all right.
We were gonna get to
My
the,
bad.
we were gonna get
All right.
Damn.
we were gonna get to the
We're
bottom
gonna get
of
the
it.
fucking answers we wanted, dude.
All right.
So check this out. Hold on. Let's go. Let's go to the neuralizer real
Yeah.
quick. Okay. Did you know that there's like close to 8 billion people in the world, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that just the state of Texas, you can fit every human in the world just in Texas?
Yeah.
And they will have about a
Eddie Bravo taught me that on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Okay. What I'm saying is, if you was to bring because so if in Texas you can fit comfortably, right? Imagine if you spread every single
No, you couldn't fit
country
comfortably.
over America.
You couldn't fit comfortably in Texas. People would be living, sleeping shoulder
It'll be
to
1,000
shoulder.
square foot.
Well, they'd be
No.
No, he's talking like the human beings, not the houses and
Yeah.
places you live and
Yeah.
stuff.
No. What I'm
It's just
saying
next to
is,
each other.
if you can fit in Texas, then if you put the whole USA, you can fit comfortably, right?
I don't what
If you spread them out,
Yes.
you get what I'm saying?
7.7 billion people.
Yeah.
No, we
Dude, you know how dense some places in like China are?
Let's go
Like,
to
or
Canada.
some cities are
Let's
so
fit United
dense.
States and Canada. Okay, spread it out.
well,
Doesn't
that's a
matter.
different story because Canada goes all the way up to the Arctic Circle. So yeah, there's a lot of uninhabitable.
Canada's pretty empty too. I live
Where do
here.
you live? Oh, cool. I'm
Canada.
Canadian. That's awesome. I was
Nice.
born in Montreal, and we got a Blue Jays hat.
Oh, this is see that simulation?
Yeah, we got a Blue Jays hat in the room too. I mean, this is
Yeah,
all
dude.
Canada
That's
thing. Yeah,
bullshit.
bro. Fuck out of here with your American shit, bro, and your Pepsi shirt.
No. Okay, look. Okay, check this shit out. Hold on, let me show you something real quick. Let me show you
All
something.
right.
So, this is the crazy shit about it. So, inside my fuck, how you do this shit? Anyway, look, I have every single
Nice.
cap that every single baseball player, every single baseball
Oh,
team,
that's
right?
wicked, man.
Yeah.
I had the option to choose any fucking baseball team I wanted when I left the house today, and just so happened I picked the fucking Canadian.
Yeah. Should have gone with the Expos. I got an Expos tattoo on my right forearm. That would have been.
You're not seeing the fucking connection here. We're all here in the same place with two Canadians and one American wearing the fucking Canadian cap.
Yeah. It's not a simulation theory. That's God bringing us together.
I'd call that a
Oh,
coincidence.
see, three unique viewpoints. There's three sides to the story. That's crazy. We all have our own opinions on why you have a Blue Jays hat on. Isn't that cool?
Wait, what?
We all have varying opinions
An opinion.
on why you have a Blue Jays hat.
Are you trying to prove something with this, or
No.
you just speaking freely?
I'm speaking
Okay.
freely using my free will.
You're not fucking free will.
I didn't know Brennan was going to join this chat, and I didn't know Brennan was a Canadian, and I did know you had a Blue Jays hat on as soon as I entered, and I did know that I was Canadian and born in Montreal. So I immediately thought, huh, that's a cool coincidence. But then when Brennan introduced himself as Canadian, then something repeating itself, repeating again. Like if Richie Valero, who just joined us, is really a Canadian masking himself as a Kazakhstanian, then I'm gonna be weirded out. But no, man. I mean, where do you draw the line? Like of
It's all simulated, man. It was destiny. It's like kismet.
okay,
It's no free. We were supposed to be here.
yeah, I agree. There's a reason I'm still talking to y'all at 1:30 in the morning and not tired, and my brain, my mental energy is still on like optimal drive. There's probably some talking points that we haven't gotten to yet that my destiny
What?
is
No, I was
destined
trying to.
to discuss.
My thing was that it's 100% possible to test out your theory. I mean, not the God part, but what I'm saying is you can comfortably move everybody inside the world from one country into the United States and parts of Canada to have a house and some land and shit, right? This way, everybody will be governed by one president who comes up with one moral law.
Yeah, but you can.
Do you think the world will be
I
better?
I think that. Yeah, I think the Earth is small enough to do that, though. I think the Earth is. We're a lot closer than we think we are, man. We're only getting closer. I mean, there's the argument that Pangea, uh, back in the day, and the splitting apart of all the continents and the drifting further away.
Yeah, the tectonic
At the
plates.
same time, we're getting closer.
We think we're getting closer but further away.
Okay, so South America, if you just take a look, this is a weird one, but if you take a look at, I don't know what it's called, that little bump on Brazil in South America, maybe this is a Mandela effect too, but the ocean space between South America, the eastern coastline of Brazil, and the western coast of Africa, uh, like where the hurricanes spin off of the land, or where the storms come off of the land and then hurricanes start spinning up. That little area of the Atlantic Ocean, I don't know if it's a Mandela effect, but that shit, when you look on a map, that shit looks a lot closer than it used to when I was in grade school. And that's only been like 30 years. So I don't know.
Well, it's
Huh?
just a map. It's just a map. It's not
Oh,
actual Earth.
oh yeah, but I mean, there has to be some.
Are you just saying like that people are changing something, or
I think that's what, in the map sense, it could be, but the actual drifting of the continents away from one another, well, it's not like they have anywhere to go. They're not all drifting away from each other. Like we are, Alaska is moving, I guess, in a clockwise. It's hard to visualize this by just talking about it without like showing you guys on a map. But if we're expanding, we're also sort of coming closer to other bodies. Like the U.S. might be separated from Europe, or the connection between us and Pangea. I don't know what was the U.S. connected to in Pangea. What was North America like attached to the hip with?
At the hip, I don't know. I know it's connected to
Like,
Russia on the.
can you pull up like pull up a map of Pangea or no?
If I leave this
Oh
like
yeah, I
is the
got you.
whole.
But I guess what I'm getting at is, that's thousands and thousands of years old, and the ocean is what, the space in between the lands that have sort of been created based on the expansion. Like, are we sort of, are we uncovering more and more ocean as the continental masses shift?
What?
the ocean was already there when
It
Pangea
was
was
around
there?
it. So my thing is,
Okay.
how many oceans are there?
The Arctic, the Indian, the Atlantic, the Pacific. That's four. Uh, Arctic, Atlantic, Indian.
Why?
Huh?
How? Like, how? Why isn't there one ocean since every single part of the ocean connects? It's not as if there's a cutoff.
Yeah, I think that's just
Well,
territorial, like, definition, or just name.
I get it. So you'd be
Yeah,
able to be specific on Pacific, or you say I was in the Pacific Ocean versus
yeah.
the Atlantic Ocean, but I was
It's
just
just so
saying I
you
was in
can
the ocean.
identify, because yeah, if you say I was in the ocean, well, then you'd be like, what part to
I
give
get it,
latitude
but
or longitude?
logically, there's only one ocean, right?
There's one mass of water, sure,
Yeah.
but the land,
Okay.
yeah, I mean,
I had an argument.
it,
About this
it's
before.
like your brain. It's 75. The Earth is 75% water. Yeah. Anyways, no, I don't want to leave the Pangea thing. I may not be able to explain it as well as I'm trying to, but
Okay, but let's go inside your thing. Let's go inside your thing. If everyone came
hmm
together within one continent
which
and we
I think
had
is an
one ruler,
eventuality, is what I'm saying.
wait, if we had one ruler that set all moral compass across the board, would the world be better?
Yeah, without question. The ruler cannot be um
Well, then that certainly gets rid of free will if you're making everyone have
You still
one
believe in free
moral
will, Brennan?
authority. No.
all right. Have you guys ever heard of the omega point?
Nah,
All right. Well then, all right.
nah.
The singularity event.
Yeah.
That's essentially the omega point. It's a moment in time um, that we're working towards that sort of is intent on the unification of humanity.
Like one world currency, one world government.
Yes,
Is that what you call it?
but on a mental level almost to where this is this is a weird topic to talk about because I don't see a lot of wrong with choosing the right thing to do all of the time. But then I also
But what is right?
exactly, but then I also get the argument where my right may not be someone else's right. But
Right.
but
Can you say murder is wrong?
yeah, I think I think taking the onus upon yourself to remove someone from this earth is not within the realms of another human being's jurisdiction.
Okay, so let me give you a situation. A guy has a family of five.
Oh my!
Another guy
Hey,
breaks.
my wife just
Huh?
got home. I'm up to continue the conversation, but she's probably gonna want to spend some time.
All right, man. We can all start
Nah,
another day.
nah. I mean, not, not. Yeah, we're still debating. It's been a good.
So they have a guy inside of his house. One guy breaks inside. He has a family of five. He kills four of his children. The guy's coming back reloaded, and then the guy, the family, the father, kills the guy who's coming back. Can you justify his murder?
I'd kill in self-defense
What I'm saying,
if
he's
my
trying to
life
say
was at.
that it's like no moral compass across board that murder is wrong. Because he's saying that no one on this earth should have the right to take away another life. But now you just justified murder. So you can't just take murder off the board.
Well, now wait a second. The
Okay.
first murder wouldn't have happened under my guidelines.
No, I get you. You gangster. You know what I'm saying? I get
Like
that.
the
We're not talking about you, X. We're talking about a general.
okay.
Can you justify that murder when he's killing the person to come back to kill him?
Yeah, because that
But you just
justification.
said murder is wrong. Like you can't have like murder okay for situations. If murder should be across the board wrong.
Right. And if it is, then the first one doesn't happen.
But it does. But if you have a moral compass, if you have the moral compass of the rest of the world, then you think murder is wrong, so you would not murder him. He doesn't have that moral compass, so he murders you.
Right. And that's where I mean the unfortunate part of having to have some control over this moral compass has to kick in at some point where I mean
Well, your neuralizer kicks in
where
that no one murders.
well this is more of the neutralizer aspect because you almost have to yeah, what's wrong with taking the ability to do that away from someone? What's wrong?
What's wrong with
Yeah,
it?
what's wrong with making
Population control.
murder's not really affecting that very much.
No, 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 not effective across the board. What I'm saying is, let's say we all lived inside one area. food becomes scarce, you have to kill a few people, man.
Well, if we all lived in Texas, yeah, we'd be shoulder to shoulder and smelling each other's
Yeah,
crotches
yeah,
at night.
yeah.
Um,
What I'm saying is sometimes you have to kill a few people for the rest to survive. Like Thanos. Like I think the dude's a
yeah, a
hero
Thanos
in
snap.
Marvel.
Well, okay, let's.
Oh,
Someone in the
just having
comments
a
said this too, but
conversation.
is murder
A series of conversations.
is murder the same as killing someone?
Wait, say it again?
Is murder the same as killing someone?
Logically, yeah, unless they have a different argument.
Because, like, I mean, if someone attacks you and your life's at risk, so you kill
Like
them,
mine.
and that's the only way to survive, that's still murder.
Oh,
Because someone in the comments said that's not the definition of murder.
Oh, I would like to know the definition of murder, like pure murder.
Yeah, I don't know the actual definition. I just assume killing someone and murder is the same thing.
killing someone.
I mean, that person could find out and
Murder.
text it to us. Yeah.
No, it's definitely not, because if I hop in my car right now and I blindfold myself and drive down the street and hit someone. Oh, my wife's opening a wedding present, so if you guys hear that gift wrap. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Did she use her free will to pick what she got you?
That's funny.
But manslaughter is just another definition of still killing someone.
Yeah, but it's not
Oh
murder.
yeah, that's true.
What I'm saying is, you said your moral compass. We're not even gonna use the word murder because that's a man-made word. You said no one should have the ability to take someone else's life.
Yeah.
Murder or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if that was across the board, then people would have to grit and bear that. And I don't think that's the worst thing for people to grit and bear. Like, I don't think that's the worst thing to sit at home and say, "Oh man, I really wish I could kill him, but I can't."
Well, that's what people
That's what
think
people think
today,
today a
probably.
lot.
Exactly, but there's
They have a
still
dude that's killing fucking prostitutes that couldn't wait for the next day to come up so you could go kill him.
But if you're saying that you can't kill someone, then if I get attacked and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna die because I can't kill this guy.
What if okay. Yes, in today's reality you have to worry about that. But yeah. Okay.
It's all hypothetical, man.
Yeah, it is all hypothetical. And yeah, maybe my mind's a little more drained than I thought it was, but we can certainly pick this up at a later point.
All right, I'll follow you, Brent.
Yeah, man, that was good. That was a good talk.
Okay.
All right, man. I'm about to go to bed. Thanks for the call.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Yeah, you too.
Yeah, you guys have a good one.